Hey Nerdgenic Nation, and welcome to History Of. I'm your host and resident superhero nerd, Aaron Waller, and this is the series where we do a deep dive into various comic book characters, both heroes and villains, and give a little bit more insight as to who they are and why they do what they do. And in today's episode, we're talking about a Marvel villain turned hero that's been circling the MCU for quite some time and might be finally making their debut, and that's Wonder Man. Wonder Man was created by Marvel legends Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Don Heck, and first appeared in the Avengers Number 9 in 1964. Simon Williams is the son of a rich industrialist and owner of Williams Innovations, Sanford Williams. On the advice of his brother, Simon would try to embezzle funds from Tony Stark's company, but is caught and put in jail. Simon would then blame Stark for his misfortunes and accept a proposition from Baron Zemo to be used as a pawn to infiltrate the Avengers. Simon would then agree and is transformed into an ion-powered superhuman named Wonder Man. He's then sent to meet and join the Avengers with instructions to betray them at a critical moment so that the Masters of Evil, led by Baron Zemo, can destroy the super team. And in order to ensure his loyalty, Wonder Man is informed by Zemo that his body now requires periodic doses of a serum in order to survive. The Avengers are then lured into a trap and captured, however the plan fails when Wonder Man decides to save the Avengers and help them fight Zemo instead. After the battle, however, he would enter a catatonic state and thought to be dead by many, but is studied by Hank Pym in hopes to one day revive him. Simon's brother would then become so upset at the idea of his brother's death and then blame the Avengers and even take up the moniker of the Grim Reaper. He would then steal Simon's body and try to attack the Avengers several times. Wonder Man would remain in his suspended animation for years, and it's during this period that Ultron is activated and steals the brain patterns recorded by the Avengers of Wonder Man to eventually create Vision. However, this would not come to be, and Vision would actually be built from another hero, the original Human Torch. And also during his suspended animation years, Wonder Man would also be used as a pawn on 3 separate occasions, all of which were to be used as a weapon against the Avengers, whether dead or alive. After the 3rd occasion, however, Wonder Man would be restored to true life and chooses to remain with the Avengers and aid them against Atuma and Doctor Doom. He would also go on to fight Vision and soon after defeats the Grim Reaper, aka his brother, who was intent on destroying the Vision as he was an artificial and a mockery to his brother. Wonder Man at this point is then revealed to have become a being of ionic energy and eventually joins the Avengers in a full-time capacity and even becomes close friends with Beast from the X-Men. As a downside to his resurrection, however, he would also suffer from slight claustrophobia and fear of dying in battle as he did before. He would eventually overcome this fear of death during a final battle with Korvac, which is an excellent story in Marvel Comics and I highly recommend reading. Wonder Man would then go on to develop an interest in acting and then even star in minor roles before moving to Hollywood, where Hercules uses his contacts to establish Wonder Man's career. And he would even go on to work as a stuntman for quite some time. Also while in Hollywood, Wonder Man would help form the West Coast Avengers, and with his newfound confidence begins to become arrogant and develops a rivalry with Iron Man, but eventually sees the errors of his ways after a brutal battle with the Abomination. And once his acting career begins to take off, Wonder Man eventually accepts the Vision as his brother, but there is a setback when Vision is dismantled and then rebuilt as an emotionless machine by the global conglomerate. It's then that Vision's wife, the Scarlet Witch, asks Wonder Man to provide his brainwaves once again in order to rebuild the foundational personality matrix of the original Vision, but Wonder Man refuses, having feelings for her himself. When the West Coast Avengers disbands after a dispute, Wonder Man becomes a founding member of a successor group called ForceWorks, but unfortunately he's disintegrated in an explosion during their first mission, though just a few months later Scarlet Witch would accidentally resurrect him in his ionic form. And then several months after that, Scarlet Witch is actually able to fully revive Wonder Man, and he now exists in an independent, more human form, and the two would start become romantically involved. But their affair ends during the Kang Dynasty saga due to Scarlet Witch's remaining feelings for Vision. During Civil War, Wonder Man is blackmailed into working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and being on the pro-registration side, to which he creates several messages to educate the public and unregistered superhumans about the Superhuman Registration Act. Then following the events of Secret Invasion, Norman Osborn created a new team of Avengers, effectively retiring Wonder Man during the Dark Reign storyline. He would later appear on television lamenting his tenure as an Avenger, claiming it was all a waste of time and that using his violence to uphold justice had caused nothing but heartache and death. He would end his speech by sadly admitting that having Osborn in charge is exactly what the country deserves. After this, he would end up being imprisoned as a member of the New Lethal Legion. This is a group that opposes Norman Osborn, but it was later revealed that Wonder Man only joined in order to keep them from hurting innocent people. Wonder Man would then go on to put together the Revengers, a team of superpowered people to stop the Avengers because they believe they do more harm than good, blaming the Avengers for Ultron's existence, the damage caused by Scarlet Witch and the Hulk, Civil War, and Osborn's Dark Avengers. His team is even able to defeat the new Avengers in a very quick attack on the mansion before it moves to attack Avengers Tower. Although Iron Man would manage to trap him in a prison specifically designed to contain his ionic energy, but Wonder Man is still successful in spreading doubt amongst the population about the merits of the Avengers. Sometime later, Wonder Man would appear to Captain America, and even tell him that he feels sorry for his past actions and he's trying to redeem himself. But before he can accept help from the Avengers, he's attacked by the Red Hulk. He manages to take him down and looks at the Avengers Tower, claiming that he will one day earn his way back. He would eventually join the fight against the Celestial Executioner and even play a pivotal role in the final battle, where he would allow Rogue to absorb him and give the power to oppose the Celestial, but his essence would remain within Rogue. These powers would eventually be expelled from Rogue, but Wonder Man's consciousness would still remain within her mind. Rogue would eventually go on to kiss Deadpool. Don't ask me why that happened, let's just go ahead and move on. And Wonder Man would actually end up being expelled from her mind as a result of Deadpool's healing factor, kind of acting like a circuit breaker that enabled Wonder Man to escape from Rogue's body. During the Secret Empire storyline, Wonder Man appears as a member of the Underground, which is a resistance movement against Hydra ever since they took over the United States. Now, Wonder Man would also appear in plenty of places outside of comics, including video games, with his biggest appearances coming in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom number 3. He would also even appear in animation, such as The Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, where he would be voiced by Phil LaMarr, but has more recently appeared in MODOK series where he was voiced by Nathan Fillion, which coincidentally, Fillion was actually supposed to play Wonder Man in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, though his scenes were cut, but it's still rumored that he may be returning in the MCU, possibly with his own series, though whether Fillion will return or another actor will take the reins is yet to be seen. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Simon Williams gained his superhuman powers due to a chemical and radiation treatments with ionic energy by Baron Zemo, and it's here that he would gain his superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, and reflexes. He would even be noted as having extraordinary strength that even surpassed expectations and rivaled Thor and even Sentry. And in the beginning years, Williams sometimes wore an ionic energy powered apparatus which allowed him to simulate flight. However, over the course of his career, he would gain true flight, as well as being able to manipulate his own ionic energies, including emitting force or flame beams with his hands and eyes. And now for my favorite segment here on History Of, the recommended reading, where I give you a list of comic books where you can go and learn even more about Wonder Man, and even better, see him in action. First up, we have Avengers Number 9, which is his first appearance, and as I like to say, is always a great place to start and meet the character. And keeping in the same vein of Avengers, I would recommend Avengers Number 58. This is where Wonder Man played a role in creating the Vision, or so it seemed. But this would be the beginning of Wonder Man and Vision's long history, and honestly, anytime their paths cross in comics, which has been quite a bit, it's always an interesting read. Next up, I recommend West Coast Avengers Number 1. This is where he begins to join a team of his own and juggles his ego as well as fights crime. Next up, I would recommend his own series, Wonder Man, starting with Wonder Man Number 1. This run focuses on Wonder Man's budding celebrity status and begins building the character further in ways that a lot of Marvel characters had yet to explore. And last on the list is probably the more emotional of all the comics, which is Avengers Number 177. This is where it explores the deeper side of Wonder Man and his fears after being resurrected. So those are some of the major things you need to know about Wonder Man. Was there anything in this video you may not have known otherwise? Let me know down in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, let me know of any other characters you would like to see on this series. Your suggestion just might become next week's video. But also while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell notification. That way you don't miss out on any future videos from me or the rest of the Nerdgenic team, as we have tons of new content, including videos, live streams, and so much more. And also be sure to follow us across all social media platforms at Nerdgenic. That way you don't miss out on any special news, announcements, or articles at nerdgenic.com. But in the meantime, if you want even more video content from us, check out these videos on screen, like my History Of playlist right over here, which gets a new character every single week. You don't want to miss out. Plus there's tons of characters already in there. You can delve through it and just let the playlist go. Or if you want a little bit of a change of pace and want some more video game stuff, check out this playlist right over here. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it, and we hope to see you in the next video.